Exodus, movement of your people.
Ow! You're tearing my ear off!
It is time. We've had we've had other players leave, but I guess this is the first of what will be an exodus, a much needed exodus. Luton Town have just sold Carlton Morris for an undisclosed fee to Derby County. Now, I've been vocal about Carlton this season, and a lot of people they're in OK Football Towers, they're getting busy holding me back. It's like, don't go in too hard, Ollie. Don't go in too hard, Ollie. Well, you cannot deny what Carlton Morris has done during his time at Luton Town. The first 2 seasons. The less said about the final season, the season that just happened, the better. But it's not entirely down to Carlton. And don't get me wrong, Carlton is a nice guy. He's sort of been a leader on the pitch. Whether he should have been made captain, that is up for debate. And I've been relatively vocal, saying he will go down as one of the worst captains in Luton Town history. And I think that's an absolutely fair assessment. I can't think of many worse captains, but again, it's not his fault. It's not his fault, is it? No. A striker should not be captain unless you're Alan Shearer and you're banging in 30 goals a season. But he was a victim of the circumstance. His friend, who was the captain, and he took over from Tom Lockyer, and that's fair. But it was down to management, and management should not have made him captain, and we know that now. It was a terrible season, and he wasn't just a victim of being made captain and having that leadership thrust upon him. That you can naturally be a leader, and that is normal. But in terms of football, you need a captain to sort of be in the middle of the pitch, a vocal type of person. Go back to George Pilkington, heart of defence, vocal. Kevin Nichols, smack bang in the centre of the pitch, vocal. Victim of coaching. If you compare Carlton Morris's goals from the first season to the Premier League season and then the Championship season, there is a clear difference in goals. Whether that is Carlton carrying an injury or Carlton being coached wrong, there are many schools of thought on this. But if you go back to that first season where he bagged 21 goals, there were a variety of goals. There were him popping up at the back stick. There were him going on a mazy run and dribbling past a couple of players and slotting it in. There were goals where he took a chance from the edge of the box. I'm remembering that, both of those Norwich goals, to be honest. There was the one, his first goal for us, well, maybe it was his second, where he went on the mazy run and then wrong-footed a defender and slotted it in. And then there was the other one where it was like from 40 yards out. And that Carlton was not apparent in the seasons afterwards. And I said it, during the season, Carlton was not staying within the width of the goal. He was drifting off wide, he was dropping deep. And then you can say there was the idea that he didn't have the legs to get into the box. Quite often, I would say this to my dad. If you watch Carlton, he runs the channels, he lays the ball off, and then the ball gets whipped in. Carlton's quite often standing next to the person that's whipping the ball in. Carlton, you're meant to be in the box, mate. You're the striker. It is what it is. Can't change the past. And as I said, victim of coaching, he is going to Derby County, where he's going to be under a very good coach in John Eustace. So John Eustace will get the best out of Carlton Morris. No doubt in my mind. Because John Eustace knows what he's doing. However, Derby, they're apparently going to be signing Patrick Aguiman. Patrick Aguiman?
That was the worst pep talk ever.
I don't know. They're signing a fella from the MLS who's apparently a very raw prospect. And there are only so many strikers you can play up top. So I think they still got Jerry Yates. They're going to have a few strikers. So will Carlton get the game time he needs? But also, was Carlton carrying not an illness? Was Carlton carrying an injury? That is a big talking point as well, because it was fairly obvious he wasn't as mobile as he had been in his first season. And then his mobility and the types of goals he was scoring kind of dropped off a cliff. But at the same time, who else was there to replace Carlton in our team? Cauley Woodrow? No, I think I'd score more goals than Cauley Woodrow. I'm kidding. He's a professional footballer, but he's not a very good one. That is the problem with playing two up top. Essentially, you need a deep bench and a lot of strikers that can sort of swap in, swap out. Whereas we were playing like a 3-5-2, and who else was there? There was no one. So Carlton Morris, especially after Elijah Adebayo got injured, he had to keep going and going and going. And Lassie Nordas wasn't trusted. Nick Ali was preferred out on the wing. Tahith Chong is built like a little girl.
Damn!
There just were no options. So the only option was to just keep playing Carlton over and over and over again. You got an injury, Carlton? Well, I don't care. You're starting, mate, because not only are you the captain, you're the only striker that we have. And that was reflected on the performances. It is what it is. But I've talked about Carlton Morris. I can wrap up some other bits of news that have been going around. Oh, wait. I haven't even read the press release from the club. And I have to say, it's quite a nice one. We can confirm that a fee has been agreed with Derby County for striker Carlton Morris to join the Rams on a permanent transfer. Carlton joined the Hatters from Barnsley in the summer of 2022 and immediately became a favourite with the Kenilworth Road crowd, netting 20 times to help fire us to promotion to the Premier League in his first season. After scoring a penalty in the Championship playoff final shootout over Coventry at Wembley, he then wrote his name into the club history by repeating his trick to register our first ever Premier League goal in the opening fixture away at Brighton and Hove Albion. The following month, Carlton netted the winner to record our first Premier League victory, a 2-1 success at Everton, and finishes our top scorer with 11 top-flight goals to his name. Quite a few penalties, though. But they were very good penalties. Very good penalty taker. And that goal at Everton, that was brilliant. The back post, the flight of the ball, the way he rifled it into the goal. Fantastic. For the past 18 months, the 29-year-old has worn the captain's armband with great pride and led the team from the front. Shouldn't be leading the team from the front. Not unless you're Alan Shearer. Once again, topping the goal-scoring charts in the 24-25 campaign with 8. This is the first time since the 2000-2001 season where a Luton Town player has failed to register double figures. That goes to show how bad last season was. Terrible. I can't believe they're actually writing about that in the press release. He leaves Kenilworth Road with a record of 39 goals in 137 appearances, and thanks and best wishes from all Hatters for the parts he played in the club's recent history. Manager Matt Bloomfield said, Carlton has been a big player for our football club for a long time now, and in the relatively short spell that we've worked with him, he's led by example and given everything for the cause. We understand his desire to continue his career at the highest level he can. He leaves to join Derby with our best wishes. I'm sure I speak for everyone in saying he'll always be welcome back at Kenilworth Road for what he helped the club achieve. We wish him well for the future. Thank you and good luck, Carlton. Well, he will be welcome back. I'm erring on the side of he was a victim of the injuries and poor coaching. we'll see what he's made of next season under John Eustace at Derby. And I think he will be a significantly better player than he was for Luton Town under Rob Edwards and at the tail end under Matt Bloomfield, although you can't really judge him for what happened under Matt Bloomfield because Bloomfield only had him for a short time and it was fairly obvious Carlton Morris was carrying an injury pretty much throughout the entire season. Hopefully he's come back, he's refreshed, injury-free, and he can attack the season with Derby with his doppelganger. That's mad. He's like playing in the same team as that guy Gudjman or whatever his name is, who looks pretty much identical to him. That's crazy. Right. I hope Carlton does well, but much needed wage off the book, much needed separation from that disappointing double relegation team. Much needed move away from all that. We need every single player that touched the Premier League to be gone. And hopefully, to go back to the beginning of what I was talking about, this is movement of the people. Exodus. We need all these players gone. But we need new players in. And the lack of rumours surrounding who's going to be coming in at Luton Town has been very, very worrying, especially when you pair it with the fact that Nick Ollie has been linked with a move away. But at the same time, you don't want to get caught in the same trap that we were last season, where there were players that were obviously agitating to stay in the Premier League, and we kept them against their will. So it is what it is. Pay cuts galore. And fair play, Carlton. You got a nice big contract now. Well, hopefully, probably under Derby. You know, they're probably going to pay you more than we will be in League One. So, what was your favourite Carlton Morris goal? That's an interesting one, isn't it? For me, I think I already mentioned it. It was that goal. No, his first goal was against Swansea, wasn't it? First goal was against Swansea. Yeah, my favourite goal was that one against Norwich, where he did that amazing thing. So I sent the player for the hot dog, slid it in. Absolutely wonderful. Let me know your favourite Carlton Morris goal in the comments below. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It takes a second. I don't know what you're doing not subscribing. Well, we'll catch you all soon. As always, everyone, have a good one. And most importantly, come on, you Hatters.